Recently I had this request. I would like a report to print for my volunteers that shows the name, address, and phone number of the voters in their area that they can use for making calls. Well, let's go see how we might do that. I'm going to do a voter search. I'm going to click on profile, and I'm going to probably do this by precinct. That might be how you'd want to do it. You may break it even down by ward, however you choose. In my case, I'm going to choose Golden Valley PO1. You might have to go by precinct code. That also works. I'll do a search, and for me it'll bring back 1,723 records. Now I do have some columns in here that I don't want to display. We'll get to that in a moment. But I've got most of it. I've got the last name, first name, I've got the address, but I've got some other things I don't need, and I'm missing the phone numbers, of course. I'm going to go into the Format button. This is where you get to pick what columns it is you want to display. For the phone number, I'll go down to the phone area, and I'm going to pick up phone home, and I'll pick up phone cell, and I'll even pick up phone biz. I'll click OK. And when I do that, those columns got added out to the end out here. There it is, phone, home, cell, and biz. But I still have the other columns that I really don't want. Now I've got a couple of ways of doing or getting rid of that information. One is to unselect them. If I click this button that says Show Selected Only, I can get rid of things by unchecking the box, like the birth date and so on. That's one way of doing it. Another is to go over to this Format tab, and in here I'm going to select Visible or Invisible. So I'm going to say Invisible there and take off the voter ID. I don't need to see that for printing purposes. As I scroll down, I may want to get rid of the gender. And I'm going to undo the county, CD, SD, and LD, and the reg ID. Let's see what this looks like when I'm done. And here I've got a nice format. It looks pretty good. Last name, first name, middle initial, address, city, state, zip, and so on, and the phone numbers. If I've got what I like, I'd like to save it. I'm going to come up here and say Format, Save, and I'm going to call this Phone List. To print this, I choose Print from the tool strip. In my case, I'm going to preview this. You would certainly always preview. Now, when you do a preview, it always asks what printer you're going to go to. What it's asking is what printer you're going to go to after you preview it. So I'll choose Print. And there is my report. And I'll collapse this and make this a little bit larger. Now we can see we've got names. And again, now I've actually got some room. This little space over in the end here indicates I've got some room. Maybe I want to widen out the names, because I'll bet you some of those names got a little cut off. So I'm going to double-click the last name column. I'm going to double-click the first name. And when you double-click this dividing line in between, it auto-fits based on the data that is within that column. So I've just auto-fit the city. Now again, if I come back and choose my print and preview, give you a larger view, there's my report, and I'll be able to see long names and of course all the phone numbers. If I go to my next page, maybe I find a few other phone numbers. Here we go. Here's a page that's got some cell phones and biz phones on it, and so on. This report tells me that I've got a 5-page report. When I'm ready to print, now I click the print button in the upper right hand corner. Again, select my printer, click print, and off it goes.